All right, this is area notes. So area is the amount of space inside of a closed figure. Okay, you must memorize and use the formulas below. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay, so we're talking about area of a square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle, and a trapezoid. Okay, so the formula of a square, if you look at a square, to figure out the area of a square, all you gotta do is multiply the length times the width. But since a square is going to be the same, all you gotta do is remember, that means side times side. S is for side, or you can say side squared. All I gotta do is square the side, okay? So this one right here, this figure 6 yards, since it's a square, all I have to do, first of all, write out your formula that you're using. Every time you figure out area, write out the formula, okay? Then I'm going to substitute S, we got 6. So 6 squared is 36. And because we are talking about area, we want to square the units, okay? So that's pretty simple. This one right here, side length is 9.7 centimeters, okay? Again, if I draw it, it's gonna be 9.7 centimeters. Again, write your formula and then substitute, okay? 9.7 squared, and you can do that on your own. So these two right here, you should be able to do on your own, okay? Same with this one. So that's a square. Square is going to be area equals side squared or side times side, okay? That's a square. A rectangle, okay? A rectangle is going to be length times the width, okay? Simple, length times the width, okay? All you gotta do is, again, rewrite your formula every time. This is the formula I'm using. Then you just substitute 9.1 times 8.5. You can use a calculator, 9.1 times 8.5. I'm going to get in my calculator 77 and 35. It says round to the nearest tenth on my directions. So it is going to be 77.4 feet squared, okay? All right, so this is easy. That one, again, this one, write your formula out, length times width. Then you're going to substitute what you're really gonna do. So 42.5, which you can plug in the calculator, 42.5, times 37.2. Multiply that out. Finish that one out on your own. Same thing with this one. You'll be able to do that one. So that was the area of a rectangle, okay? Parallelogram. Okay, a parallelogram is when you have the opposite sides are going to be congruent and parallel. A rectangle is a parallelogram as well as a square. The only difference between a parallelogram and if it's a rectangle, the rectangle has to have 90-degree angles, okay? The square has 90-degree angles as well, okay? So not all parallelograms are rectangles, but all rectangles are parallelograms, okay? With a parallelogram, what you're gonna do is the formula is gonna be base times the height, okay? So the rule with a parallelogram, the base and the height have to be perpendicular. What perpendicular means is it's gonna form a right angle, okay? So base times height. You never want to get a slant. This 9 right here is not a height. This is slanted. So again, the height and the base have to be perpendicular, okay? So again, I'm going to rewrite my formula. A equals base times height, okay? My base, again, whatever is perpendicular to my height. So that's a 5. If this is 5, this is 5. So my base is 5. My height is going to be 6. Okay, so 5 times 6 is 30 feet squared, okay? This one's easy, okay? It's not a diagram, but you can basically multiply. So all you gotta do is write your area formula first, base times the height, and then 17 times 14, you should be able to do that one. Area equals, okay, yards squared, okay? This one's different because you notice that the height is on the outside, Okay, again, your base have to be perpendicular. So it's 13 and 6. Got to be perpendicular to the base and the height have to be perpendicular. So you can do that on your own, base and height. You don't want to do anything with 7. 7 is not a height. Again, height and your base have to be perpendicular. 90-degree angle. Okay, so that was a parallelogram. Okay, now on to triangles. Okay, a triangle, okay, if you think about it, how do I get a triangle? If I had a rectangle, you know that a rectangle is going to be length times width. A rectangle also, the formula of a rectangle, you can actually use base times height. Okay, it's the same thing as L times W is base times height. It's the same thing. I told you that all rectangles are parallelograms. So you can actually, for a rectangle, you can use the formula base times height. Okay? With a triangle, how I got my triangle formula. So if I took this rectangle and I cut it diagonally, I can get 2 triangles. So if you know how to find the area of a rectangle, which is base times height, all you gotta do is gonna take half of that. So triangle formula is easily area equals base times height divided by 2, or you can do 1/2 base times the height. Either or will work, okay? You're just cutting a rectangle in half. That's how I got my triangle, okay? Another thing I want to mention is that the base and the height of your triangle have to be perpendicular, okay? So you want to find the 2 parts in your triangle that are going to be perpendicular. So again, you're going to write the formula out, base times height divided by 2, or you can use 1/2 base times height, okay? You want to find the 2 parts that are going to be perpendicular together. So 7 and 9 are the ones that are going to be perpendicular. So you're going to do 7 times 9 divided by 2. Okay, so 7 times 9 to the calculator is 63. Divide that by 2. I'm going to get 31.5 or 31.5 yards squared. Okay? All right, so this one right here is pretty simple. Again, rewrite your formula. Base times height divided by 2. You're going to plug in what you know. Okay? You have your base times your height divided by 2. You can do that on your own, and you're going to get a millimeters squared. Okay, so finish that one. This one right here, again, your base and your height have to be perpendicular. Okay, so again, you're going to use your formula. Base times height divided by 2. Okay, base is 5. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you know that they're perpendicular. Base times height is 5 times 7, divide that by 2, and you're going to get your area, okay? All right, so one last figure that you have to know the area of is a trapezoid, okay? A trapezoid, okay, if you notice, in a trapezoid, you have 2 bases, okay, that they're parallel together. You have a height. Now, a trapezoid is similar to the triangle formula. It's just that you have 2 bases. So what you're going to do is you're going to add the 2 bases together, base 1 plus base 2, okay? You're going to multiply by the height. Remember, the height has to be perpendicular to the bases. And then you're going to divide that by 2, okay? Or you can say 1/2 base times height, base 1 plus base 2 times the height, okay? So this one, again, you want to make sure you're writing your formula every time, okay? Add the 2 bases together, times the height, divide everything by 2. So this one right here, I've got, these are my 2 bases. Remember, the 2 bases have to be parallel. Parallel means the lines do not cross, okay? Okay, so I'm going to plug in my 2 bases. So 23 plus, this is the bottom one, 15. Okay, times my height has to be perpendicular to my base. So my height is 6, and then divide everything by 2. Okay, so I'm going to add 23 plus 15, okay, which is 69.5. No, sorry, I wrote that. Never mind. 23 plus 15 is going to be 38. I'm just going to rewrite the steps here. Okay, 38 times 6 gives me 228 and then divide that by 2. And my area of my trapezoid is going to be 114 centimeters squared. Okay? For this one, again, you're going to rewrite your formula. Okay? Rewrite your formula to be A equals base 1 plus base 2 times your height, divide everything by 2. Every time you do an area problem, you need to write the formula you're using. Okay? This is simple because all you gotta do is add the bases together. So you're just adding 36 plus 27. Multiply that by your height, which is 7. Divide everything by 2. You can finish that out. And you should get your area equals millimeters, whatever you got here, squared. Okay? This one right here, same thing. Your 2 bases are here, 35 and 47. Okay? Your height is going to be perpendicular. This is my height, but actually it's going to be 38, okay? Again, base plus base times the height, divide by 2. So go ahead and finish that one on your own, okay? So this was area notes for square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle, and trapezoid, okay? So we will do the practice part in class on the back. So please make sure you have this in your notes and you finish the ones that I told you to finish up, okay?